All right, everyone. I just woke up here. I'm going to do a really quick video. Um, it's just something, sometimes I wake up and I'll wake up from these weird dreams that I'm having and I'll just start thinking about just thoughts, things that come to my head. And there's always something that pops up that I don't think about it all the time, but when it pops up, it's kind of like the mystery that keeps me going in my own life because I still can't get over this thing of how can this be? How can there be humans? How can there be an ocean of water? And I know everybody's mind probably goes to it's this and it's that and it's God or it's there is no God and all this. Look, let's just leave that out of the picture for a second and not think about that. Just think about if there isn't something. Just think if there isn't some intelligence or something that put this into action. Let's just think of this because a lot of people do believe that there is something. And all of you that don't believe, hang on because we're going to talk about that side too. But I just say to myself, these animals, and I know that animals suffer in the wild, but I'm just saying all this other stuff, water, storms, hurricanes, volcanoes, human beings, the atmosphere, the universe, we have a volcanic core and all these things. When you really, 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 really think about this, I mean, it's so all-consuming and powerful. For me, it kind of like it's like overwhelming, but at the same time it is like this, it's like this thing that you just can't put your finger on, and it's the mystery that's there. And it's like something that I think it's like the one thing that keeps me going is not knowing, is saying that this mystery, like, I don't know. I think some of us, we get so sure of ourselves and we tell ourselves things and we really don't know. You know what I'm saying? And we get cocky within ourselves and we say that we do know. And I know for me, sometimes that's all that I have to hang on to sometimes is the mystery of life itself. Like if I feel myself starting to, just feel a little bit gloomy or feeling just, having one of those off days where I feel off. I just got up. I didn't drink my coffee or take my medication yet, but sometimes it's like I think I need to show the side of me. I need to be vulnerable with myself. I need to be as vulnerable with myself as I can possibly be. Because if I'm not vulnerable with myself, then I know that I'm not being real with myself. But then I think if there is something, that somehow put this into action and there's something after this, there is some kind of afterlife, which really doesn't make sense because when you say what happens after death, well, I mean, it's kind of an oxymoron. You're dead, you die. What happens after death? You're dead, you die. But I can't be on either side. I can't be on the side that says there is something, and I can't be on the side that says that this just came to be like this. But what if there is something else? What if these, like I said, what if these little organisms and cells and these tiny little things, what if they are, quote, God? What if they are the building blocks of life? And that's what they are. That's what scientists say they are, DNA, organisms, cells, molecules. These are the building blocks of life. Now, I don't know if it's the molecule or the cell or organisms. I don't know which one you specifically say that it is. I think it's molecules and cells. And then DNA is the structure. I'm not really, like I said, I'm not a genius. I'm not a book genius, but I know little bits and pieces. You know what I mean? I'm just not good at putting the whole thing together. But it's like I keep having these weird dreams all the time, and I keep having these things. It's really hard to explain. I know it's just me, it's nobody else, but and then I'll wake up again and I'll say, what if this is just all for, what if it is just for all no reason in the end? But then, and then I tell myself, then how did this come to be? It's like it's really weird. It's like it's so confusing, but at the same time, it's like there has to be something going on here. Like I just can't, I just cannot tell myself that, the human hands, the human eye, lips, the nose, the teeth, the hair, the ears, the inner ear, there's so many different parts to the human body. And you're going to tell me that these tiny cells knew to do that? And I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to scientists. I'm talking to evolutionists. I'm talking to creationists. I am talking to whatever label that people give themselves. I'm telling us to just really think about this for a second. We have toes, we got fingernails, we got bones, we got veins, we got cartilage, and then our elbows bend a certain way. Women have breasts to feed the baby. Men have penises that goes into the vagina, and then it, the sperm in the male, goes into the ovary, the womb, and then it, it goes into the egg, and it makes it's like, how could have cells known to do this, even over a period of millions or billions or trillions, whatever amount of years? How could something have known to do this? I mean, let's really be real with ourselves. Let's really be real. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you have been told or taught. I don't care what a scientist told you, even though I am probably more on the side of scientists because they're looking into these things. They are researching things. They are actually doing tests, and they are actually attempting to prove things. But I don't think we're ever going to be able to prove anything. I really don't. I don't think we're ever going to be able to prove anything. I honestly don't. I don't think it's ever going to happen, ever. And if there isn't something, it makes it even more crazy. If there isn't something that did this, it makes it even more crazy. And if there is something that did this, possibly, then it makes it more crazy. It's crazy either way you look at it. If there is or there isn't. Yet again, it's the contradiction going there. If there is something, it makes it crazy, because if there was something, then what made that thing? What made that thing? And then what made that thing? It's like generations of people. We came from someone else, and then they came from someone else. Then they came from someone else. And it goes back and back and back. And I say, well, where in the heck? How did humans start? How did they shelter themselves when at one time there was no buildings? There was no huts. There was no place to go. There was no refuge for humans. So how did they come about in the seasons, the cold, and at night when you can get hypothermia? They couldn't clothe themselves. You see what I'm saying, people? We're not looking back far enough. We're not really digging to the root of the problem. To me, it's like an outside show that we're putting on. Everybody says or thinks they have the answers, and really, we don't know jack shit. We are stupid. We are dumb. We are unintelligent. Really, if you want to know my honest opinion, we may be book smart, and we may know how to build a house or build a bridge, or we may know how to build a highway or build an underground water system or all those things. But for real, I think that we are nothing of what we think that we are, and what we think we are, we might not be at all. Because like I said, I was watching a video the other day, and it's just a reminder, is the ultimate knowledge is knowing that you know nothing. And I heard this before hundreds of times, but it reminded me that, man, you really don't know nothing. And that's why I'm going for people to understand and look into knowledge and look into things themselves, so that you can have an understanding for yourself. But I know for me, it's like the more I look into things, it's almost like the dumber I get. It's almost like even though I may think I'm intelligent, I think I know, I don't really know anything. It's like the more you dig, like back in the day, they said that cocaine was good for you. Now cocaine's not good for you. And then it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. They said that, what's another thing that they said? I'm sure there's a lot of examples. If you can think of examples, leave it in the description. Start terraforming or webbing this thing out. It's like, I want us to think about these things. This can be a kind of fun in life. We can have fun. We don't have to just be stale and stagnant and depressed here in this life. It's like, even when you're feeling that way, there's ways to go about doing things to get out of that kind of way. If someone's in severe pain, there are drugs that people can take to not be in such severe pain. I wanted to think of a couple examples so I can, make people understand what I mean, but I can't think of something else. Like they said that certain foods were good for you back in the day. Now they say they're bad for you. Now they're saying they're good for you again. They say eggs are bad for you. A lot of eggs are bad for you. I know that. If you eat like an egg and a half, 2 eggs a day, it's not so bad for you. It's probably good for you. But see, it's this thing again, too much, too little. If you don't have enough, it's not good. And if you have too much, it's not good. But it's like, I'm seeking this balance in life, and it's like the more that I'm going for this balance, It's like the more that I see that I don't know much of anything and everything is still a mystery. It's like, well, we are capable of thinking. We can imagine things in our head. We can keep imagining and imagining, and we can think that we're intelligent. Men can boast that they know, and men can brag that they're so tough, that they're so big and strong, when really we are not tough, we are not strong, we are none of these things. All it takes is a couple pounds of pressure and your neck can break, it can split. All it takes is some pressure and your arm can snap. All it takes is a little bit of pressure and your bones and your flesh and your gristle and your muscle can break. It's like we are not what we think in our head. Like we are so weak. We are so powerless. We're like a pillow. A pillow would survive a car wreck. We wouldn't. Have you ever seen like the parts of a car when there's a car wreck? Those parts are still there. The seat is still intact. The soft, cushiony part of the seat's intact, and we're all over the place. You know, it's like, and yet again, there's something in that powerlessness, though. See, most people, when you say the word powerless, they run from that. They scurry from that because they think that is somehow a bad thing. There's really nothing good or bad. When it becomes good or bad is when we're either doing it too much or we're not doing it enough. That's when something becomes good or bad. And most people that may not understand that. There is no right or wrong. When you do too much, when you try to look like you're a goody two shoes and you know everything, that's when the problem takes place. And then when you don't do anything at all and you don't care for your health or your body and you just let everything go and you have no responsibility or accountability, the wrong part, then you're going to have consequences too. So it's basically, it's yet again, in the mystery of it all. Don't do too much or too little. Don't think that you know too much, but know enough for yourself while you're here. It's just like I said, it's this balancing act. It's like this juggling act that you're constantly and continually doing. And it doesn't end. You know, when I woke up, I said to myself, my whole life I have been chasing after this wind. I have been chasing after. I thought that, you know, my friends were doing so many things while I wasn't around. I thought that these families were out having so much more fun and going places and doing all these great things. And I thought that the world was doing something and something big was happening. And when you think about it, there's not really anything happening. It's all what you make it yourself. You see, it all comes down to the person that is listening for themselves. You can do whatever you want to do today. There is nothing going on out there. People are not doing what you may think in your head that they're doing. It all comes down to whatever you think is what you can do. If you want to find a cure for cancer, then you can go somewhere right now. If you really want to, you can start working on that if you want to find a cure for cancer. I'm just saying, I'm just giving an example here. If you want to find out why or how all this came to be, you can look into that. You might find some things out for yourself, but you're never going to really find out completely how things came to be. But that should be the great thing of it, is that it's a mystery, is that the mystery is always there, and that's what's giving you something to do. That's what's giving me something to do every day, is that it is a mystery, and I don't know if I'm doing all this for nothing. I don't know if this is for no reason at all, even though I said to myself, and I'm telling myself this, the only meaning is what I give the meaning right now in my life. So if there is nothing after this, and there is no ultimate being, God, whatever we label it as, then I know that when I'm dead, it's meaningless because I won't exist no more. But if there happens to be some kind of something, I don't know, but I'm just saying, then what I'm doing now has meaning, and then there will be something, but I don't know that. So I have to make meaning right now, because I don't know if there is something else besides this life that I'm in. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's just a quick video. I don't know how long it is. I have the video facing the back. I try not to go on too long, but like I said, it's just always a part of me, this thing. Like I always have questions. I never stop. Even though I'm not chasing things. I'm not chasing things anymore. But I know that I can't stop asking questions. I can't stop saying, why? How? Why does this do this? How did this come to be? Where is this going? You know, like it's continually there with me all the time, and it never leaves me. And I'm glad that it doesn't, because if I didn't have that, then I would kind of be like a vegetable. I mean, there wouldn't be anything if I didn't have what I have. I mean, I would just be like I'd be like a dead vegetable. I would just be like someone sitting on a bed, not moving, not thinking, not doing anything, you know? So anyway, just something to get people to think again, that's all. And don't think too much. Don't overthink either, because I think sometimes, I know for me, I overthink. I think about things way, way, way too much, but I kind of can't help it. And how can you tell someone not to overthink? You know, I know it sounds kind of stupid, but it's like I said, it's just like a balancing act. The whole thing is like a balancing act. And I know when I keep my life in balance, I'm not so bad. You know, I'm better off keeping my life in balance, is all I'm saying. So I'll talk with y'all. Thank you. All the support, donations are appreciated whenever y'all can do that. Thank you.